And now for all of you youngsters you've been very, very good tonight. I'm very proud of you. Here are the animals.
Hi everyone, this is Carnivore Ron, the musical carnivore. Today I had an incident happen. I was driving my wife to work and I was trying to theorize. We recently had a visit from some friends and it was a very enjoyable visit. Loved having the people over, but they stayed for about 4 days. And during that period of time, I gained weight, even though I was eating the same. They ate their meals. They understood the diet, that I was on this diet, and that I had the timing, timing my meals and doing intermittent fasting, and that I was eating only animal products. They understood all that. They had no problem with that. In the car this morning, I was driving my wife to work, and I was theorizing, why did I lost all the weight that I gained while they were here, plus another pound. And so I was trying to theorize what was going on here. Now, I've watched hundreds, maybe even thousands of hours of lectures and interviews by research scientists that work in this field. A couple examples would be Dr. Ben Binkman and he's trying to think of another, Jason Fung. More than I can name right now that I've listened to. So I was theorizing why I was not losing weight when we had company here. And I came up with the idea, and I was just talking to my wife, kind of like thinking out loud. And I said, maybe I was generating stress hormones. Well, my wife took it totally wrong. She thought, don't you like those people? Don't you like our friends? Don't you want them to come and stay with us? She totally misunderstood what I was trying to get at. You see, weight loss is controlled by hormones. You can eat 500 calories a day and still gain weight. Okay? If you don't have a low enough insulin level, which is the primary one, and all these other hormones that I'm not an expert. Please don't take this as medical advice. This is just a theory of mine that I had, that I was generating some kind of hormones from stress caused by being out of my normal environment. Having people over in the house. It's not that it was stressful, like I was stressed out, like, oh my God, they gotta go. No, it wasn't like that at all. It was a pleasant experience, but it was different. It was different than my ordinary everyday routine. And this caused, I think, a chemical change in my body that caused it to put on weight. It wasn't stress in that, like, I'm stressed out. It was environmental stress that was resulting in a chemical change in my body. Now, how can you explain to people that it's not calories in and it's not calories out? And this is one of the problems that I think we have with the carnivore diet. I'll give you an example. I have a friend who I pretty much convinced him that the arguments were lies, but he used to telling people that the earth is flat. And he used to quote Occam's razor, that the simplest explanation is the right one. And I tried to explain to him, look, that only applies if you get the exact same results. Like if you have two theories or two formulas, let's say. You have two formulas, and one formula gives you the exact same answer as the second formula, but the first formula you go through 5, 10, 20, 30 more steps than the second one. The second one is the one that you use always, because you always get the same result. Flat Earth and global Earth are not the same results, okay? But people like simple explanations, okay? They say, and one of the appeals of the carnivore diet is very simple. Eat animal products. Of course, they want to include dairy, ice cream, honey, okay, which doesn't work, because it's not just that it's animal products, it's that you're eating meat, and especially red meat, because it's nutrient dense and it's easily absorbable by your body. You can make use of the nutrients more readily, and it doesn't spike your insulin. Oh, and let me add one more. And it's not inflammatory. Inflammation, high insulin levels, that's what makes you gain weight. I remember watching an interview where the interviewer was asking a research scientist, saying, actually I think he runs an obesity clinic, and I can't remember the name of the person now. He said, the interviewer said, well, can somebody eat 700 calories a day and gain weight? And you should have seen the look on the interviewer's face when the interviewee said, absolutely. Okay? If your insulin level's high, those 700 calories that you eat are going to go into fat. Insulin tells your body to store fat. And actually it tells your body to use sugar, okay, to function, rather than using ketones, which is using body fat or fat that you've eaten. Now again, I'm not a research scientist. I don't know all the specific details, but I found it very enlightening when the researcher said you can eat 700 calories a day and gain weight. Because I've had that happen to me years ago. I used to go and I would go and eat 700 or 800 calories, and then I'd go on the treadmill and I would walk until I had used every calorie that I had ingested. You know what? I gained weight because of the type of calories that I was eating. I was eating carbohydrates and sugar, bread, potatoes. I was eating some meat, hot dogs, which is, they put seed oil in, which is inflammatory. I was eating all the wrong stuff. Not that I was eating too much, I was just eating the wrong stuff. So how do we convey that message to people? I think about the Maha movement in this country, and how is the government going to educate us? Even the doctors that are out there, they don't understand nutrition. This isn't what they've studied. And the nutritionists, they're going and giving out information that's 50, 60, in some cases 80 years old, from research that was done 80 years ago, that actually was not really research. They were articles that were written by people that were bribed by the food industry. So that's what we're faced with. I don't know what to say about that, what to do about that, what we can do about it. All we can do is keep spreading the word. I'm bearing witness on what's happening in my life and what things that we can do, and what works for me may not work the same way for you. You know, individually, we all have different hormone responses based to environmental, which I'm considering food that we eat as part of an environmental. If you start thinking about your stomach and your intestines is part of the world outside of you. Yes, it goes inside your body, inside your stomach, gets digested and eliminated. But what goes on inside your organs and your blood vessels and your brain, your eyes, your nose, your mouth, nose and mouth, bad example. Those things, just like the air you ingest, the food you ingest, those are environmental issues. And you go to a grocery store and what do you find? Okay. You find the center aisles filled with carbohydrates, seed oils, sugars. You find food with labels on it with 20, 30, 40, 50 ingredients. You know, so if you want to do Occam's razor, buy your food from the outside of the store. If you want to be a vegan, get, you know, fresh vegetables, fruits. If you're going to be a carnivore, you go to the meat aisle, you go to the dairy aisle, and you get things like butter, eggs. Those are real food. What kind of label do you have on an egg? Well, they have best by dates on them, but the ingredients are eggs. The ingredient is a ribeye steak. The ingredient is a T-bone steak. The ingredient is a chuck roast or a round roast. Okay? That's what you need to do to make this diet work. And the more you understand, I think, the better. And I encourage people to go do your own research. Go look at what these doctors have. I'm gonna put a list of doctors on the screen here at the end, and you can pause it, write them down, and actually I'll put the list in the. Actually, I think I'm better if I put it in the list in the description. Do a search for these doctors and listen to their lectures if you have time. If you don't have time, again, keep it simple. Buy your food from the outside of the grocery store and just don't get anything from the inside. Now, I do get a few things from the inside. You know, I still occasionally like hot dogs, and they have some ingredients in there that aren't necessarily good for you. Okay, so I call it my dirty carnivore. You know, I'll eat a kielbasa once in a while. I eat hot dogs, a sausage, but I don't use ketchup, which has high fructose corn syrup in it and other seed oils, and also has tomatoes, which for me is very inflammatory. Other people may not have a problem with it. I didn't realize how inflammatory it was, and that's a whole other story. How I found that out, because one day I decided to have some ketchup with my steak just for the heck of it. I said, just to change the flavor up. That was a mistake. God, did my knees hurt. Actually hurt for more than a day. But anyway, getting back to the whole point here is that to keep it simple, buy your food from the outside of the store. Oh, what I was getting at is that now I use sauerkraut, which comes in a can. It's fermented cabbage. and it has, I think, 3 or 4. It's not highly processed, but it is processed. Fermenting is a process. And actually it's a beneficial process. I also bought some mustard, so I'm not, I said, well, I think I can have a little mustard with my hot dog or with but I don't have a bun. I avoid the bun. Carbohydrates, carbohydrates, nothing but a chain of sugars. Don't take my word for it. Look it up yourself. Go to the source, the people that research this and know this. Okay? Again, don't just take my word for it. Anyway, I've been talking for too long. It'll take me forever to upload this video. By the way, the music that I put in here is from a group that was around when I was a kid called The Animals. I hope I don't get a copyright strike for this, but that's why I put it here, because my wife this morning totally misunderstood what I was trying to get at. And this, I think, brings to light the problem that we have of conveying why this is such a good program for so many of us. Anyway, please, Lord, don't let me be misunderstood. Have a great day. Have as good a day as you can possibly have. Enjoy your food. And for me, I'll give you my advice is to eat meat and try to be happy about it.
Here are the animals.
Baby, do you understand me now? If sometimes I seem to be mad, well, don't you know that no one alive can always be an angel? Or when things go wrong, I seem to be mad. I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. Baby, sometimes I'm so carefree with a joy that's hard to hide. And then again it seems that all I have to do is worry, and then you're bound to see my other side. But I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood. If I get edgy, I want you to know